This video has been brought to you by Robbie Ector and the Double Minority. When I was younger, I went out to eat with an older gentleman. I probably had no business doing such, as I was 18 and he was probably in his mid-30s. Nevertheless, he told me something that always had stuck with me. He said, "You can be gay, but don't allow being gay to define you." Looking back on it now, I never wanted the term to define me. My sexuality was just that, my sexuality. I knew it didn't shape who I was as a person, but as I became older, I realized that it is society who defines me by my orientation, not myself. The case of Lil Nas X made my epiphany much clearer. Prior to him telling fans that he was indeed gay, there was no talk about his orientation. He was just a cool dude with a hip song, a millennial artist that broke into a foreign genre and related to both the young of our times and the older generation. However, as soon as he made his sexuality clear, then the shift completely focused towards his sexuality. He would post simple pics and the comments flooded with gay, faggot, and you like dudes, and even, are you gay? The world immediately wanted to define him by his sexuality when he is so much more. Lil Nas X created the biggest song in history while sleeping on his sister's couch. He broke boundaries into the country sphere and united a nation at a time of political and racial strife. What I love so much about Lil Nas X is that he is not fed the trolls. The way in which the LGBT community is ostracized and ridiculed makes it clear that the world is obsessed with painting us into a specific box. Nas X is so versed within modern culture that he shakes it all off and doesn't lean into the world's canvas. This was especially evident when he went on to HBO's show, The Shop. HBO released a clip from the episode in which Nas was speaking to a group of men about why he chose to come out to the public at the peak of his success. Please have a look.
Early success, you felt it was important to make an announcement recently.
He said it was gay, so what?
Yeah, what's the point? So why did he feel that was necessary? It's not about who cares. That's actually my question. Why do you feel it was necessary to come out and say that?
It's not that it's being forced. It's just knowing growing up, I'm growing up to hate this shit. I'm not supposed to ever like this.
Hate what? Hate what?
Homosexuality, gay
Why?
people. Come on now.
Why are you gonna
If you're really from the hood, it's not some. So it's if for me, the cool dude with the song on top of everything to say this, any other time, I'm doing this for attention in my eyes. But if you're doing this while you're at the top, it's for real, and it's showing it doesn't really matter, I guess.
Exactly, it doesn't.
There it is.
As you can imagine, the release of this footage incited immediate backlash. People accused Hart and others of gaslighting and lauded Lil Nas for handling this situation extremely well. If you don't know or didn't know what gaslighting is, the definition reads as follows. Gaslighting is a form of emotional abuse where the abuser manipulates situations repeatedly to trick the victim into distrusting his or her own memory and perceptions. Gaslighting is an insidious form of abuse. It makes victims question the very instincts that they have counted on their whole lives, making them unsure of anything. Gaslighting makes it very likely that victims will believe whatever their abusers tell them, regardless as to their own experience of the situation. Gaslighting often precedes other types of emotional and physical abuse because the victim of gaslighting is more likely to remain in other abusive situations as well. The way gaslighting works is that the person who is perpetrating the gaslighting, they basically create this narrative that the person that they are talking to or the person they're interacting with is creating all of these strifes and issues up in their own head, which is basically exactly what Kevin Hart did to Lil Nas X. Kevin Hart constantly said, who cares? Who cares? And he's like, about what? About what? He literally made Lil Nas come out of his mouth and say homosexuality. Anybody knows that homosexuality is an issue within the Black community, and it is very much shunned and looked down upon, which largely has to do with our community being so rooted in Christianity. Kevin Hart says, who cares? Who cares? But the entire world cares. Basically everyone cares. If no one cared about the LGBT community, so many comedians wouldn't be facing backlash, trans people wouldn't be having all of these issues, and so on and so forth. So by Kevin Hart basically saying who cares and about what and acting so confused, he's basically making it seem like Lil Nas does not know about his own experience, which is gaslighting 101, right? Lil Nas could come back from this situation and think to himself, well, maybe Kevin is right. Maybe I am over exaggerating. Maybe people really don't care about my sexuality. And we all know that that is not the case. And how dare Kevin do this after the entire Oscars drama? Kevin Hart should not even be opening his mouth to say anything out of the way about LGBT people after everything that had occurred. You can clearly tell that he is able to speak and be a representative for our community without falling into the pitfalls that so many people try to lead us into. We must protect him at all costs. We definitely need to protect Lil Nas X. We see this happen time and time again. We see people like Michael Sam who come out and their career ends up being tarnished. We also have representatives for our community. We have the Bobby Lights, we have the RuPauls, who play into the stereotype that our community kind of represents, being flamboyant, being over the top, being extra. And I love how Lil Nas X kind of skirts that, and he's this great representation of somebody who is comfortable with themselves, but at the same time they don't have to play into all these extra stereotypes. So we definitely need to make sure that he is protected and he remains successful, because what Lil Nas X serves as is so important when it comes to representation of not only Black people and LGBT people, but the millennial generation as a whole. The fact that he doesn't lean into stereotypes, he doesn't play into this troll behavior, and he's still able to come out on top and be successful is such a big deal. And like I said, we need to protect him at all costs. And when I say protected, I don't mean that he needs our protection, because he certainly has held his own without any help, but I mean he needs our support, our unrelenting support. So if you learned anything from this video today or are a fan of Lil Nas X, please like and share the video, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.